our main product right now is just making sure that every lead that comes into a business gets a call from a salesperson within 1 minute.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Growth and Scaling Podcast. I'm your host, Todd Westra, and you are going to love this episode because we're talking to a founder today who he solved a problem that I think a lot of you are going to need to have solved, and that is getting to your leads quickly. What do I mean by quickly? How about less than 60 seconds? That's right. He's developed a product that gets your lead on the phone within 60 seconds and you win more business. I am telling you right now that most businesses lose the value of their lead substantially when not communicated to within 24 hours. But when we're talking about within the first hour, let alone the first minute, the conversion rate is through the roof. I mean, literally through the roof. Statistics all show that this is an amazing thing. This is an amazing product, and the founder has come all the way from Sweden via the Middle East to America to bring us an amazing product. You're going to love this interview, and I love the thing that I think you're going to love the most is his enthusiasm to not be afraid to make mistakes and to just continue to grow in a way that is comfortable for them and their company, as well as for their investors, and making it just a through shot for businesses to take their marketing, convert it to new business, and when you're helping other people grow, guess what happens to your business? It's going to grow as well. Really fun growth journey. You're going to love this interview. I'll see you on the flip side to get a recap of what you thought. But thanks for being here. Share this episode with anyone you know that needs to hear about growth internationally and converting more leads, which should be everybody. So share this a lot. We'll see you on the flip. Hey, welcome back to the Growth and Scaling Podcast. I'm your host, Todd Westra, and I am so excited to have a guest here today who has grown the same business, not in one country, not two, but jumping into his third growth journey. And I think this is awesome. It's going to be a great interview. Johan, tell us who you are and what does your business do?
Hey, yes, it's so great to be on. Todd, you're great, and it's a great podcast, so I'm super excited to be on. And I'm Johan Nilsson. I'm the founder and CEO of Convolo.ai, and what we do is basically comes from a frustration that I had when I was running marketing campaigns and having an agency generating leads for other businesses, and they sometimes complained on leads not being that good. And I was like confused because I was really like sure that this landing page and the messaging, everything was right. And I just realized when studying all of this and testing things that the real issue was speed to lead. Like the salespeople were just like way too slow in calling their leads. And then I found all these studies, like all of a sudden showing that when you call leads within 1 minute, you get like 391% higher conversion rate. And then,
that's crazy.
It's like I just started finding like more and more studies on this topic. And then another study shows that less than 1% of companies in North America actually call their leads within 1 minute. And nobody is thinking about it. So I kind of just decided to go on and try to solve this. And so we have Convolo Leads, which is our main product right now is just making sure that every lead that comes into a business gets a call from a salesperson within 1 minute. And we have the software, the routing, a lot of cool stuff to do that. But we also have a call center who can call the leads for the business if they don't have the team to do it. So pretty cool.
Wow. This is a huge problem. I mean, this is huge. I don't know if you know this about me, but I spent 12 years doing lead gen for a bunch of online offers, and I am keenly aware of the speed to lead conversion metrics, and I know that what you're solving is a huge problem, and most people are not even thinking about it. And for me and my call center, I mean, that's how we made our money, was the speed to getting back to leads. But within a minute is awesome. And so what you're doing is huge. What kind of companies are needing this technology?
Yeah, so really it comes down to, we have a wide base, right? Where everybody who generates leads and wants to call them, then they should call them right away. Like it's that simple. But then
Right.
when we look at like who gets like crazy ROI, then it's basically the bigger the deal value, or the bigger the value of a new client, and the higher the competition, the more critical this becomes. Because if somebody's looking for like real estate, we when we expanded to Dubai as our first international market, and we started in Sweden, Scandinavia, some of the European countries, and then our real first like international expansion was to Dubai. And actually our first client signing there was Coldwell Banker. It's a huge international real estate company, and we had a couple of things we needed to set up for them. It took about 2 weeks to set up, and when we came back, they were like, can we get started today? Can we get it on today? Can we? And I was like, what happened? It's like
I love
something crazy. And they just said, well, in these 2 weeks, we have multiple cases where we have confirmed that we got a lead, and that person, when we talked to them, confirmed that they did buy in that real estate project, but they bought from another company who was selling the same project because we were too slow to go back.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, so they already
knew
they lost, more than $100,000 on those deals. Yeah.
That's a really smart case study, because, when I initially heard about your company, I immediately thought of very quick sales, like small, $29.99 to maybe $2.99 offers online. But you're saying that your actual sweet spot is something in the bigger offer playing field.
Yeah, actually, so real estate is today our biggest. And in Dubai, we're honored and proud to, I told the story when we came there. I basically kind of hyped a little bit, said like, hey, if you don't, like, either you get on with Convolo and you'll have an advantage, or if you don't do it, then your competitors will have it, and they'll call the leads so quickly, and you'll lose out. Now it's really true, because we have it's about 55% of all real estate companies in Dubai are our clients now. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. That's huge. That is not what I would have expected, but it makes sense.
Yeah. It's really like,
when a customer does not hear back, they just move on to the next person.
Yeah, and it's really about the first impression as well. So one thing I've been surprised that we work a lot with B2B businesses as well. So we kind of built it more for B2C, more quicker transactions. But almost half of our clients are B2B, and it's longer sales cycles. But hang on, so if you fill in a lead form for 3 different companies that are your potential vendors, and one of them calls you back within 1 minute and like, hey, we're on it, let's do it, like let's move, and then the other 2 they call back later, and one maybe the next day, like you just have this feeling like, hey, if they're that slow in the, like before we paid, they might never answer after we paid. Right? So it's like first impression.
So true.
It's huge. Yeah.
That's so true. What a great product fit. I like the way you're messaging this a lot more clear than when we talked the first time we chatted a few months ago. I love your product, by the way. It's for those that haven't seen it yet, Convolo.ai is down in the show notes down below. Great product, and it does serve a lot of different marketplaces. If you are generating any lead and you're not following up with it, you're just throwing money away. And so, spoken from a lead generator, lead converter over the years, you have to be aware of products like this. Please look at it down below, because you are going to need this for your growth and scaling journey, guaranteed. So, Johan, tell us about the business now, because now that we know what you do, tell us about your growth journey, because it sounds like it started off in Scandinavia, and then you ventured out into the great unknown and Dubai, and now you're in America. How did all this happen? And tell us a little bit about that growth journey.
Yeah, so without getting too detailed, but I met my co-founder on a plane while my kid was screaming like crazy, and I was just feeling so bad for him for just to experience this all. And then kind of we met up and then started a company. It's kind of crazy. But so in Sweden, we did a lot of mistakes, and we bootstrapped. So we both had businesses before. We started out just, putting some of our own money in, some time in, and I was really passionate about solving this issue. We had a little bit different types of experiences. we were very bad at really planning out the business. Like we were really just testing some things and passionate, and we started to get some things working. The way I started doing the first sales and kind of testing the market was I just really I sat down, I Googled, and I took I made a list of like 100 contacts, different companies, and then I got on the phone, started calling, and the first day I made the first sale over the phone without a demo or anything. Just like $200 or something. I got the guy to pay, but it was like it was like I gave him like the best deal ever, like $200 forever access, whatever. But somebody paid, and I was so excited. So I guess that's a point that I want to get across, that just, hey, sometimes just go out there, talk to somebody, get somebody, sell your idea to somebody at some kind of price, some kind of packaging, and get some proof, and then you test it from there. But then we started growing, got, in Sweden we got some of the biggest, like most known, like sales experts and so on to use the service. Some of the biggest CRM systems, they use Convolo for their sales process, which obviously gives a lot of credibility. Biggest real estate company in the country and so on. And then we had this call from Dubai where somebody had seen our phone button and our service on another website, and they said, hey guys, Dubai, like if you're doing good in Sweden, where actually people don't like that much to talk on the phone, in Dubai, people don't even read their emails. Like everybody wants to talk on the phone, and they're like, you have to come here. So I just got on a plane and had some meetings there, and got the first deals closing, got some partnerships, and then we started moving from there. We had a big crash when COVID hit, so we launched in January 2020. And then we had good growth until March, and then COVID hits, and everybody just like 1 second just zero marketing budgets. So we had to relaunch in Dubai about 1.5 years later.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so we just really had to kind of get on it again, and this is like part of the scaling journey. You just have to be flexible.
Right. No, this sounds like a very typical roller coaster ride.
Yeah, and then we started getting like this traction, and we found a good model where we actually have partners. Local partners doing like the most of the work, and we're educating them, and that became more scalable than us trying to do things on different markets by ourselves. So and then last year we did a pilot in US, starting with some Facebook ads and just getting some quick sales, and just felt that we had a confirmation that this can be something good. And in December, I moved to US to really like kick it off over here. And we already have, really good, both direct sales, but a lot of partnerships and people wanting to, merge, buy us, grow with us.
Embed your services. Yeah.
White labeling. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super cool. I mean, honestly, it is such a natural. It's one of those technologies that you think is already out there, but it really isn't.
Yes. That's really. People have told me many times, like, oh, I heard something like that before or something. But it's really, I really believe that we've been able to do what some people before have tried to do, but do it. Succeed with it better because we have a stronger passion for solving the problem, and that's where that's where the real win comes from, I think.
Hey, this is Todd again. Thanks so much for enjoying this episode of the podcast. I am so glad you're here, and I just wanted to take a few seconds to tell you about a program that we have assembled with a lot of our podcast guests and a lot of people who are listening to the show who are feeling the same way that they do. There's a recurring theme. You'll hear a lot of these founders talk about, I couldn't have done it without my team. I couldn't have done it without a support group of peers. I couldn't have done it without having someone to talk to that understood my feeling of isolation as an operator of my business. You see, you're not alone. It is hard running a business, and it's even harder when you know you can't express all your deepest concerns and frustrations with your executive team. It makes them nervous. It gets them scared. You don't want scared people on your executive team. So where do you turn? The Captain's Council is where you turn. The Captain's Council, it is an organization that we are put together with podcast guests, as well as people who are listening, who are in the same boat. You see, peers are the only ones that can give you the type of empathy, the type of advice that only a founder or operator know and understand. Go check it out at captainscouncil.com. I know you're going to love what you see there. We have put together an organizational structure that has small group settings, a global community of founders and operators, as well as monthly and quarterly in-person events. You're going to love what you see there. I can't wait for you to check it out and enjoy the rest of this episode. Well, and I think there's a lot to say about the trends in communicating with online visitors. You know, for a while there, it was all calls. It was all, hey, let's get on a phone call. Let's get on a phone call. But then it all went to digital and email and text and that kind of stuff. And I think we're finding this, people want to have that personal relationship again. And I think phone calls are becoming an important piece of what they do to close business. So I think that what you're doing is a really smart play, and getting people back on the phones, getting people on these interpersonal communications where I'm not just talking to a bot. I'm actually talking to a human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm all for the automations of, you know, chatbots and text messages and, you know, and we do, you know, part of those things as well. But our view is more, hey, like when a person comes in, like let's try to reach them to have a real call with them. Because if you're on the phone for a minute or two, you have a relationship. Like you don't have a relationship because you send somebody a text message. Like you're just promoting yourself, right? And that's what I really think business is about, is building relationships, right? And then if they don't answer, then plug it into your automations and just, you know, nurture them, right?
Do a follow-up sequence. Yeah, nurture that lead. So what about the flip side? I mean, we talked about some of the fun of the growth journey.
Yeah.
Talk to us about some of the biggest challenges. What are some things that you hit that you weren't really expecting to hit you? Obviously COVID was one, but what are some other things that have really kind of gotten in your way that you weren't really sure how to overcome?
Yeah, so I think I was thinking in general about challenges, you know, what I can share. And I think my main issue has been often that I've tried to do too much myself and too much and hiring too low level of people for a small company instead of like hiring sometimes instead of, you know, figuring out how to maybe selling more myself, charging more to have more cash to pay for the first employees to be higher level, more thinkers and more people who can drive themselves instead of people that I need to all of a sudden spend a lot of time managing, which takes away from my time. Yeah. Right. And then also trying sometimes to delegate, you know, things that are delegate some of the hardest things first, like kind of, you know, I would start searching for a salesperson when really I should have stayed in the sales position much longer, while I should have outsourced my inbox management or document, you know, admin stuff. And just so that I would, you know, sales is a pretty high leverage, high value activity. And it's really, it's a big risk when you give it to somebody else. If they screw up, all of a sudden you don't have the sales. And that's what we've done, that we hired a person kind of, instead of hiring a real salesperson, we took in like a intern, young guy, looks promising, you know, has potential. And it ended up that
I've been there.
We even got like even into like he even tried to sue us afterward because he was home not doing anything, and he even was bragging to some other people about him working for us, that we thought that he was working, but he wasn't, and he got paid. And then it was just like, it's like the craziest thing ever. Instead of just actually
Johan, that sucks.
Selling more myself and kind of getting a little bit further ahead, and then hiring somebody who had the experience, had the network, and who could just, you know, come out there and do it better than me, or after I actually delegated the admin work and so on. So that's one of the maybe main things that I'm looking back
Johan,
at.
I think that's a common problem. I think that is probably way more common than you think, because too often we, as founders, we tend to think that we know how to do everything the best, and then we'll train somebody. I just need anybody to come in and I can just train them how to do this thing. That really just opens yourself. I'm actually dealing with that in my business right now. I have completely opened myself up to the same exact problem where I am now spread so thin trying to help other people organize their parts that I need them to do for me. And it doesn't work. It doesn't work well. I think what you learned is a very valuable lesson. What advice do you give to other founders dealing with that same problem? They're too scared to kind of buy up, I guess you could say, in leadership up front.
Yeah, so I do think it's a really wide thing, like a wide issue for many people with kind of who you hire and how you choose there, and it's like you know, if you hire somebody and tell them what to do, then they will soon come back asking what to do next. And then when you tell them what to do next, they ask, so how do I do that? And then all of a sudden you're all busy, you know, creating the training materials and this and that, but you really should have hired maybe somebody first in that area of your business who could actually build the training materials for the next people coming in. And actually you want to, like right now, I'm looking when I'm hiring, I want to hire somebody and delegate an outcome, not delegating tasks. You know, there are different ways. There are people that,
I love it.
If we have a playbook and it's like super clear, it's already ready. You don't need to think, like it's really just tasks. I could give people
just
tasks.
Plug in and do this.
It's there. But in general, it's much more effective to delegate outcomes and pay for the outcomes, because then and then you need to think of people who can actually deliver on that outcome, right?
I love it. Really creative, really thoughtful feedback there. And I think those of you listening who are in this growth journey right now, and you're a little bit skittish to hire the people that you know will just take it over and run with it, don't be. Because I think that what you'll find is what Johan has found, in that when you hire better talent at a specific thing, you're going to get a way better outcome. And when you think that you can train somebody on the outcome you think you want, to his point, they're just going to come back to you again and again and again. What do I do next? What do you want me to do next? And they don't think for themselves, because they think that you have a master plan that you really didn't. You just had a pathway. Go down that road. I don't know what's down there, but go down the road. It should work, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Well, how as you've been going through this growth journey, you're now, you went from Sweden to Dubai to America. How big do you see this scaling? I know what are the things are you doing to try and grow and scale into the future? Yeah,
so a couple of things that I think are crucial for us right now. So we had more than 3x growth last year. We're tracking first quarter this year substantially beating our awesome. 3x kind of basic plan. So we might be 5 to 10x this year. Looking at what's happening now, which is super cool. And what I've learned now, if I would start over, would really be there's a book called Vivid Vision, which talks about creating a vision for 3 years out. And then there are systems for running your business, which, for example, EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, and so on, that I don't think are that important in the beginning, but if you start thinking about them a little bit in the beginning of the journey, it becomes easier. So really looking at where do we need to be in 3 years? What does it mean that we need to complete each year in terms of growth? And then what is needed to actually make that happen? And then all of a sudden, looking at, well, some of the initiatives that I'm thinking of doing, it just really can't create the growth that we need. So one of the things I noticed when I started looking at that, when I made my, actually in October, I really completed my Vivid Vision, and I understood, hey, if we're going to do only direct sales, I just really don't see it coming together. Like so And then I
Right.
understood like we need to work more with one-to-many, like partnerships, and it just
I love it.
became clear. And I was not able to do that a couple of years ago, and I didn't know about it. But if I would know about that
Right.
earlier, we would have probably been, a few years ahead. So
Very
really
smart.
vision, and then planning
smart.
out, and then really like making sure you have, if you're not good at it, I'm not good at the admin, following up numbers, then you need to have somebody who's making sure that whatever plans you make, you're following up to make sure
Right.
if you and other people on the team are actually tracking towards it, and
Totally.
if they're hitting it, if they're on track, off track, are they hitting or missing it,
Totally.
right?
I love it. That is some awesome advice, Johan. I absolutely love it. And I think before we part, because I all good things come to an end, but as before we part, I want to make sure that we catch a shout out, because I really feel like what you've experienced so far in your business is phenomenal. First of all, congratulations on the success you've had so far and pulling this thing off. Who in your circle has been an influence to you that has kind of kept you inspired, kept you motivated to keep on going?
Yeah, so I really have multiple mentors that have been crucial for me, but I think in the growth journey for Convolo, I think a major piece have been for us to be part of a coaching program for SaaS founders. It's called SaaS Academy, and is run by Dan Martell. So, and I think he has such a great advice for not only for software companies, but for everybody. He has a great YouTube channel, this Dan Martell SaaS Academy, Dan Martell on YouTube, and he just released a book called Buy Back Your Time. And I really would recommend that read.
Nice.
Easy read, but it has a lot of nuggets on how to be more effective and be smarter with your time and when you grow your business. So,
love it. Well, I'm eager to check it out. We'll put links in the show notes down below, so those of you listening, take a look at it. Go download the book and check out who he's talking about and who he shouted out. And also, make sure you check out Convolo.ai. It's a fantastic product. Having been in the call center for years and years, it's just a smart thing to have. If you're spending money on ads, look at this product. I guarantee you're going to love it. So, Johan, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the time you put in to be here and to benefit our audience. And where can they follow up with you? Are you active on LinkedIn? Where's kind of the place you play?
I think LinkedIn is a great place. So if you just search for Johan Convolo, you'll find me and ping me there. I'm usually fairly quick at answering, or hit me at johan@convolo.ai. Todd, you're awesome. I'm super excited about what you're doing with the podcast, and I'm sure this will grow into something great that can benefit thousands of entrepreneurs and people in the growth journey.
I hope so.
It's awesome.
I hope so. That's the goal, buddy. Appreciate you being here. We'll talk to you later. So what did you think of that? Great founder, right? Johan is a great founder. He is one of those founders that I love because he is very practical, very real, and has come up with a great solution. His product is really cool. The way that he presents it is very cool. And I'm telling you right now, there are very few businesses that don't need what he has to offer. They just don't know that they need it yet. So my challenge to all of you is, let's get in the door, test this product out, and see what it does for you and your lead conversion. But more importantly, how did his growth journey affect you? It's an interesting story, but how does this affect you in your growth journey? You may not be needing to go to Dubai. You may not be needing to go international, but do you need to go across town? Do you need to go into a different city, a different state, a different region of the US, Canada, Mexico? Where do you need to go to get your business to where it needs to be for you to feel like you've been successful? In a good growth strategy, you've thought about this already. You've come up with a vision of where you anticipate going and being. And in Johan's case, he definitely sees growth in America, but he was a little bit nervous to come straight to America. So he took the route of, hey, we got some demand here. Let's go satisfy this. And then he moved it over to America second. Was that a good move? Personally, I think so. Could he have done it without going to Dubai first? Yeah, I really think he could have. But did it work? It's working. It's working. I love it. Great model, great business. I hope you found some value in today's episode. And I hope you share this with anyone that needs to hear this type of message. Please don't hesitate to listen to more episodes. We have got amazing founders coming out of the woodwork everywhere wanting to be on the show. And you are just going to love every one of these episodes. We are qualifying them ahead of time. Take some time to listen to some other episodes because I know you'll find value listening to other founders explain what decisions they made to grow and scale their business. I hope it helps you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to catching you on the next episode. Thanks for being on the Growth and Scaling Podcast.